when it comes to your marketing, you have the opportunity to pay or not to pay and use more organic traffic. And I love the analogy of the tortoise and the hare because the message in that fable is that slow and steady wins the race. And as I said earlier, you can definitely achieve your goals if you just take your time and, accept the fact that sometimes you have to move slower and you can't do it quite as fast as you want to. It just doesn't mean that you will not make your goal. You can. It just might take you a little bit of time. I am in my backyard and I am putting some sand inside the weights for an umbrella that's going to go in our backyard. And while I was filling the sand, I realized that it was going to be a struggle. It was really going to be difficult and I had not prepared myself for that. And initially, when I started putting the sand in, the box came with this little plastic, sort of like plastic bag type of funnel that they suggested that you pour the sand into your weight with. That didn't work. Then I tried to just use a cup. That didn't work. Then my husband went and got a funnel from his automotive supplies and that seemed to work, but it was a lot of work. And I would pour the sand in and I had to just, we were trying our best to get it to go down, but the sand is kind of wet and it's sort of a struggle. And then I decided to just start sprinkling the sand in the funnel from the cup. And it works wonderfully. It's going to be a slow process, but it is a process that seems to be working. And I wanted to just pop on today and talk about the power of the tortoise and the hare. And everything doesn't have to be fast and furious. Things can be slow and steady, and you'll still be able to win the race. So I want to talk about a few things today that you can do. Even if things are moving slowly, slower than you want them to, you can still make progress. You can still reach the finish line of your goals. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. If that sounds like something you're interested in, keep watching. Okay, so let's get down into some of these things that you can do right now to achieve your goals if you can't, do the pay to play process to gain exposure for your business. Now, I love the whole analogy of the tortoise and the hare because when you think about paid versus organic traffic, one is slow and one is fast. I want to kind of go over some of these things here that you can do to help you achieve your goals or at least give you a clearer understanding of what you need to do to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve if you cannot go fast, if you cannot move fast. If you're like me with that sand, initially you're going to be frustrated because things aren't moving as quickly as you want them to. They appear to be a little bit harder than you want them to be. But if you just sit back and take a breath and you just give yourself a moment, take a beat, you'll find another way. You'll find a way to do it. And it's not always going to be a fast way. It's going to be a slower way, a more organic way. And so I think that the video footage that I have of me trying to do this sand, like just trying to get it all into the funnel and it not working and showing you how it got clogged up versus how I just sort of changed my mind, did a little bit of regrouping and sprinkled it in and made it go down further. So anyway, I really think that is a great analogy. So I want to talk about this idea of paid traffic versus organic traffic. The tortoise being the organic traffic and the hare being the paid traffic, okay? So let's look at organic traffic. First of all, it's going to take some time to gain momentum. It is what it is. Like, just get that in your head. When I'm working with clients, a lot of the time, the budget they have means that they're going to have to take the organic route, at least initially, especially, they don't want to throw more money at something they don't understand. So they choose to go a little bit more organically. And when that happens, I tell them, like, it's a minimum 3 months to start seeing a little bit of traction and to test the market and see what we need to do. So the mindset needs to adjust so that you understand that, first of all, organic traffic is going to take a little bit of time to gain momentum. I have my notes here, so I want to make sure that I get everything in as quickly as possible. Next, organic traffic builds community, which I think is one of the most valuable components of organic traffic. Yes, you can build community with paid traffic. However, sometimes the community doesn't last long because when you're just capturing people for a moment, or if the right people aren't targeted, you may get a sale, you may get tons of sales, but are they going to stick around, build community, stick around with you? Sometimes yes. I know that there'll be arguments, yes, but that really is dependent upon you getting your niche right when you are doing the ad in the first place. And a lot of you do not know how to get your niche right in the first place. So therefore, it's going to be a faster way to make conversions, but it could possibly be a slower way to build community. But when you're using organic marketing tools and building relationships with people organically, what you'll find is it takes time to attract them in the first place, and then you're going to invest time in building relationship with them, and you're going to invest time in understanding their needs and providing them with solutions. And what that does is it encourages loyalty, and that in turn can help you grow a lot easier and a lot faster in the organic space, because now your community is helping you to grow by sharing you exponentially with the people that they know. So though it might take a little bit more time, it's going to be a slower process. Building of community can help you speed that up a little bit, and I love that about organic. Next, organic traffic allows you to use what you have to get what you want, at least until you can pay somebody else to do it. When I started my business, yes, I had a marketing degree. Yes, I have my cosmetology license. And so those two things gave me somewhat of a foundation to get started with what it was I was trying to do in terms of personal branding. But I still had to educate myself in other areas, like how to become a stylist and how to use my marketing in a way that really was conducive to what I was trying to do. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but I still had that foundation of a marketing degree and a love of making things look and feel pretty. And so I was able to use that to grow my business, to build community, to get more education and experience in an area. And so I was able to test my abilities in different aspects of the marketing arena. And therefore, when it came time for me to pull it all together with personal branding, I had a solid foundation of how to do a lot of different things. And so you want to use what you have. You want to use your passion. I always talk about this in my program, understanding your influence, because we are the sum products of our influence, experiences, passions, and perspectives. And that is really all free to us. It doesn't cost us anything to discover how we were influenced. It doesn't cost us anything to use experiences we've already had, or to look at things through the perspective that we're bringing to the table and use that to add value. And it certainly doesn't cost us anything to tap into the passions and the loves that we have that not only helped us to solve the problem we have for ourselves, but it can also fill in the gap and solve problems for others. So using what you have is a good thing. Stop looking beyond what you have to get what someone else has. Again, I can go on and on about interpretation versus imitation. Also in my program, definitely using what you have is a great way to really build upon that organic marketing strategy that you have. And I do have this whole foundational program, my signature program that's going to be launching soon, that really does show you how to not only create a personal brand, but how to leverage it. And again, it's all part of using what you have, right? So we're going to dive deep into that inside the program. So stay tuned for that. Next thing, organic traffic. It is just a matter of being yourself, right? You know, so often we look at what other people have, and I'm guilty of it too. We assume that if we do things the way we see someone else doing it, then we will achieve the same goals. And that is just not the case. You really have to be yourself and use your story or your epiphany moment, your epiphany journey to meet your customers where they are. Therefore, you don't come across as being very salesy. You come across as being more authentic, and your efforts are much more effective that way. It just truly is. And you become much more efficient when you are just being yourself, right? So you want to understand who you are and all of that jazz so that you can be consistent and bring the heat every single time that you go out, whatever it is you're doing. That's going to help push organic marketing, organic traffic your way, because people will start to notice that. But you got to be yourself. You can't do it trying to be like someone else. It's just not going to work. It might work for a moment, but you can't sustain that. You can't actively be like someone else for a long extended period of time. Eventually you're going to want to sleep on your own bed, if you know what I mean. Like when you go out of town and you gotta, you're away from home, you got to be your own guy, your own girl. You got to be authentic in what it is you're doing so that it's sustainable, right? And the sustainability is what helps you be consistent. Now, you also want to be organic and use the relationships you have to gain exposure. How can you do that? Number one, with networking. Get into your local chamber. Join other networking groups where you can get around like-minded people who are potentially serving the same people you're serving. And then what can happen? You can do collaborations, which is leveraging the relationships you have with other entrepreneurs because you're serving the same audience. You can leverage that to actually grow exponentially in your business. And that is, again, organic ways to grow your business and gain exposure for your business. It's slower, yes, and it does require strategy, absolutely, but you can definitely grow your business and achieve your goals, right? Next, make conversations happen in your everyday life. I was just on the phone with a girlfriend today and we were talking about this. I can turn any conversation into a conversation about what I do for a living. Why? Because what I do for a living is very genuine to who I am. It's very authentic to what I'm trying to do. I see visions of it. I see applications for it in just about every single thing I do, every single thing I talk about. I can connect the dots of leveraging your personal brand to just about anything. I recognize the need to be solid and certain about the things that I'm doing in my life, because then I can have the quality of life. Then I can create a business and grow a business with confidence. And so I can literally take a conversation and somehow or another I can loop in the fact that, really understanding how you were influenced in that way is going to help you do a better job at that. Or I bet you if you look at what really inspires you and what really motivates you, you'll be able to get that thing done and be more productive. If you look at how you like to operate, your personality, I can put together, or you can put together, an amazing system or workflow or process that's going to help you do X, Y, and Z. I can do it with just about anything, but it's because I am connected to my business. I have put the BU in my business. Okay. Now you can use and leverage that idea I just mentioned about the conversations. You can use that on social media, guys. Get into those DMs, start having those conversations. Don't be afraid. If you see something on social media that you want to comment on or you want to ask a question about, slide into someone's DM and start the conversation. If you are on Facebook in a group, or if you're on TikTok and you're watching it, or if it's a reel, comment, make a suggestion. Don't be salesy though. Don't put your email address, don't put your link to your website, stuff like that. That won't get you any brownie points. But if you go in adding true value, people will pay attention and you will be surprised at what can happen as a result of you just using your relationship, using your personality, using your ability to communicate well what it is you do to solve other people's problems and help them along the way. So that's why I believe that just taking your time and moving slowly and making sure that you are being efficient, that whole idea with the sand, I'm still amazed. Actually, my husband told me if I filled 2, he would fill 2. And when it was his turn to fill 2, he was struggling a bit. And I went outside and I was like, let me show you what I discovered. And he thought that was genius. He actually said, babe, that was genius. So there you go. It worked for me. And then that's another point that I want to make that wasn't even here on my notes. But when you learn how to be more efficient and more effective, you can then monetize that in a way and help other people do the same thing. Or you can just share it with other people. And that's just part of you adding value and bringing the resources to your audience. And so when you learn something new, when you figure out a way to do something that's easier and better and more efficient, it's an opportunity to shine, to sell, to up level. All right, so now let's look at this hare, this paid traffic, and of course, obviously, if you pay for traffic, if you pay for marketing your business, it's going to be faster. That is going to be the difference. Absolutely, it's going to be the difference. But here's the thing: paid traffic isn't always possible. Paid traffic requires a budget. Paid traffic requires skill, right? You got to know how to use it, right? Or you don't want to waste it. It could require both budget and skill. So organic traffic, when you take your time and do your best and use what you have at your disposal, if that's all you can do at the moment, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm trying to get to here, guys. Yes, paid traffic can get you there faster. Absolutely. Paid traffic also requires a little bit of bandwidth, because sometimes when I'm talking to my customers, one of the reasons that I want them to get that foundation first and build out those systems and those processes is because once they do start promoting their business, promoting their service, once they do start paying for traffic, what's going to happen is they're going to get a flood of people coming in. And if they've not created the infrastructure of their business, then they are going to create a negative customer experience. And even though the floodgates are open and people are coming in, the likelihood likelihood of them staying is slim to none because the customer experience isn't a positive one. So these are things that you really need to be aware of when it comes to paid traffic. Because yes, it's easy to do if you have a budget, if you have the skill, if you have both. But if you're not prepared on the back end, it could still be detrimental to your business. So the grass is not always greener on the other side. But of course, with paid services, paid marketing exposure, you can really target more specifically who it is you want to reach. So that could be a plus as well. But listen, guys, today when I was sitting outside and I was putting that sand in that weight, it just came to me that this whole idea of going so fast and feeling like we have to do everything so quickly, but at the same time not really realizing how detrimental that could be to your business. I felt so motivated to share that with you today because it doesn't always have to be fast and furious. It can definitely be slow and steady. And if it push came to shove and I had to make a determination and say, do I want it to go fast but it be sloppy and not get repeat customers and be stressed out because the customer experience is broken somewhere and I can't figure it out? Or do I want to take my time, get it right, maybe take a little bit of slower pace, but I know that I've created an amazing customer experience. I know that people are giving me great feedback and they're sharing me with other people and they're coming back. They're repeatedly coming back to get services from me. To me, that's the best choice every single time. But listen, guys, this is not to try to get you not to pay for ads, not to pay for your marketing advertising, because definitely if you have the budget, the skills, the desire, do it, because it does get you there faster. I just want to make sure that you have created all that infrastructure in your business so that that customer experience will be an amazing one. Otherwise, get on the organic marketing train. Don't spend so much money on ads, especially if you don't know what you're doing, but change your mindset. Make up your mind that it's okay for slow and steady to win the race. You don't have to be fast and furious. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know, are you the tortoise or are you the hare? Type in the comments below and let me know. Again, make sure you're following me over on Instagram. I post over there, share things in my reels and my stories. But here's the deal, guys. I'm gonna give you a secret. We are starting something new inside my community. It is called Boss Talk Wednesday. Now, I was doing Boss Talk Wednesday just live on Instagram, just recording videos and putting them up on YouTube. But I decided that I wanted that to be something that I share with those who are just, in it to win it, and they are true community members. And so we're going to be interviewing some pretty important people. I've got a lady that's an author of a book coming up, and she's got some great information, pretty famous. And I've got some other people, some millionaires that are going to be on there who have $1 million businesses. We're going to be having conversations about the CEO lifestyle. I've got someone that's going to come on, talk about lead generation, tons and tons of things. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely get inside the BU Boss Squad community so that you don't miss that. But that's the only place that's going to be. Okay, I think I've said everything I need to say. Definitely check out the Instagram. Follow me on TikTok AF Patrick Official. And if you have not subscribed, honey child, do that. I should have said that a long time ago. Hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Please be sure, let me know, are you a tortoise or are you a hare in the comments? Comments are very important. And give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Again, I will see you next time. Bye.